For those of you joining us from YouTube, this is Aaron Heiser from Maker's Leather Supply, and today we are going to be making the ribbon wallet, which is this fancy little doodah right here. So it's a very, very simple little project, but it's really cool and unique. So you put your cards in there, you got this little ribbon with a snap on the end, you snap it, but when you unsnap it, your cards can magically come out of the wallet. Check that out.
That's beautiful.
So that's what we're doing today. We're making this. For the pattern for this video, if you haven't already downloaded it, Tandy has a link to it that they can post, and also you can find it on Maker's Leather Supply website under the free patterns section. It's Quarantine Class Live number 5, I believe, but it is called the Ribbon Wallet. So there you go. There's
and that's a good
project.
That's a good fun like family project. Like kids can do that.
It is, and it's a nice little giveaway type thing. If you ever need a quick gift to make somebody, or a cash and carry item at a craft fair,
graduation,
and stuff like that.
Put a little money in there.
There you go.
Yes.
So yeah, so they are great little items, and it's such a simple little project, but.
Do it again. Show us again. Show us again.
I just put my cards away.
What? The community has spoken.
All right, so my snap's kind of tough. It's I probably didn't set it very well. So anyway, again, your cards go inside the wallet. All right, and it looks like that, and then that'd be flapped over and snapped closed. You can unsnap it, and then when you pull the ribbon, they appear. So there it is. You'll now have my driver's license number and the information off my retirement card.
That's okay. It's useless.
Ouch. That card can get me into like PXs. Not that I ever go.
Give you that 10% discount at Home Depot.
Oh yeah, that too. All right, folks. So without further ado, we will get started. Now we do have a template for this. It's a very simple little template. But it sure makes cutting these things out right quick and in a hurry without messing with the paper pattern. Both my website and Tandy has this template available. I'm sure the ladies at Tandy will put a link out there for us so that it's easy to find. But yeah, this is one of those wallets that you can make out of scrap, and you know, yeah. So,
Heather said it'd be a good Father's Day gift, but I thought we were past Father's Day. Are we not? I feel like we're stuck in a month and we've never
June?
left. Is that in June?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. So it says here that you cut one of these out of 4 to 5 ounce leather. I've got some of this scrap here is still from one of our other quarantine classes where we built the clutch, the breezy clutch. I've still got a scrap of this sitting here. So again, that's what this is great for. We're gonna use it for scrap. So it's a 4 to 5 ounce piece. Let me adjust my YouTube camera, I'm sorry. So there we go. It is a 4 to 5 ounce piece, and I've got it on my cutting board here, and I'm just gonna put my little template over it, and I've got a scalpel with a pretty sharp blade, and we'll cut around it. I will warn you about this. This is the first week that we've done this class that our dogs are in the room, so if they think someone's knocking on the door, they'll let you know about it.
So I was just told that I do make these videos a little more fun, and Father's Day is in June.
Woo, I
thought we were in June. Are we not even in June?
We're like 2 months from June still.
Tandy just threw out the link.
There you
go. Lucy is at home with her other family.
Not Lou, she's at her daytime families today.
We have Oscar here and Myra Wiener.
So, for anybody that doesn't know, we have Oscar and Myra. Oscar's a little Yorkie, and Myra is a wiener dog. Now, poor Myra's entire name was built out of the worst dad joke in history. We were trying to decide what to name that little girl, and I said, oh, we should name her Myra, because then we'd have Oscar, Myra, Wiener. And Janie was like, oh my God, that's it. So that poor little puppy is named after a terrible dad joke.
She's gorgeous. She's a good specimen of a wiener. But not like Mr. Willie. Now, Mr. Willie, oh, I wish I could see him.
Her dad's wiener is Mr. Willie, the red-headed stranger.
No, it's Mr. Willie, the red-headed
Or,
wiener.
sorry, wiener. Anyway.
He's a full-size wiener. He weighs about 14 pounds, maybe more. There's Myra.
There's little Myra right there.
Oh, look at her.
She likes to say hi.
She's gorgeous.
All right.
Okay, moving
Go
on.
back to play. Go back in your little box. She has a doghouse that's just a cardboard box with a hole cut in it. She loves it. All right, so I cut out that piece. Now I need to cut out this little area right here and this little snap area right here.
Now you can make this in veg tan, right, and tool it?
Yeah, easily.
Okay.
Easily. So the little snap hole, I'm just gonna kind of draw that in there, and you want to use a punch corresponding with whatever kind of snaps you're going to use. You can use the little Sigma snaps, you can use a line 20, you can use a line 24. I'm going to use a line 24 because, to be perfectly honest, that's all I have at my desk with me. So that's what I'm going to use. The other side, the oblong hole, you want to make that corresponding with what size of ribbon you have. My suggestion on that answer is going to be either 3/4 or 5/8 ribbon. What I have is 5/8. It's just some gray ribbon that I got at Walmart a couple of days ago. So yeah, this stuff was like $2, I think, and it says there's 18 feet of it on this little roll. So I'm going to mark out, this hole is 5/8. So I'm going to mark it out here, and then I'll grab my my 5/8 punch.
Because you never want to punch through the template.
Well, you can if you have a punch small enough, but if all you have is the punch that's exactly the same size, then you'll crack that template in a heartbeat, and then you'll be cussing my name. So here I have a 3/32 punch for my my snap part. Okay. And then here I have my 5/8 punch for the ribbon part. Good cut. Okay, now the next thing we've got to do is a little bit of skiving, because everybody loves some skiving. I will say this. By accident the other day, we learned a really neat little trick with skiving. Okay? We used, and this was on the last Friday's video, so if you watched last Friday's video, you might remember what I'm about to do. But I had a grooved line that I used a stitch groover on in my leather, and then somebody asked about skiving, and man, that made just the perfect little border for my skiver to go against. So
what's your little thing tool that you got going on?
This is a stitch groover is what it is. It's from Barry King. I'm just trying to set it the width of my skive. I'm going to skive about a 1/2 inch or so off, and then I'm going to fold it over. Now, if you don't want to do the skive, I fully understand. Skiving is scary for a lot of people, and it can be difficult. And so yeah, if you don't want to skive, I'd just cut a 1/2 inch, maybe even 5/8 of an inch off the top there, and there you go. Then you just burnish your top. So, all right, so I'm going to skive on the back side of the leather, or I'm going to do this little stitch groove on the back side of the leather, and then I'm going to skive from there, and we'll see how well I do.
That came up like butter.
Yeah. This is the harness leather, and it does. It skives and stuff really easily and grooves because it's got a lot of waxes in it. So, all right. Now, I'm going to strap this thing up right quick. Okay. Is anybody like saying anything?
Yeah, they're saying like hello, and Tracy is saying that the download from Tandy didn't seem to work. I don't know, maybe they can look into that. Let's see. Mary Jane says that she's cussed your name a couple of times.
I don't doubt that. I guarantee it wasn't as much as Janie does. Alright, so now all I'm doing is taking this little skiving knife and I'm slicing.
How do you know when you're deep enough?
You don't?
Okay.
Alright, and my goal is to get it all the way out to the edge of the leather without cutting all the way through the leather. It looks like I achieved my goal. So now I have an area that I can fold over, like that.
Oh, yeah, Toby. Shout out to Gonzalez Satterless, Don Gonzalez. He has a video that talks about, you know, the types of leather, harness leather, oil tan.
Yeah, it's
He's
a great
amazing.
video. He just put it out a couple of days ago. You back that up just a little bit. It's blocking that
I
one.
just wanted my people to be able to see.
Alright, so I'm going to flip it around here, and I'm doing it the other way. See if I get that lucky twice.
Do you know where you got that strop thing at?
Yes, Dave Swallow of Swallow's Leather and Tools, I think. He's on Instagram and Facebook. Made that big old huge strop, and it is an amazing tool. It has, I'll show it to you, but it has 3 different grits of sandpaper on 3 sides, and then the last side has the leather bit for stropping.
And Rachel says she's in the need for a good
He's a beast.
skiving knife.
And he has them in different sizes, but this is the biggest one, I believe, and it's amazing. The only thing I wish it had is I'm gonna drill and put a little hook or something there, and I want to hang it from the bottom of my bench, because wherever it is, I knock it over.
That is true, and it is loud.
It's very
because it's solid.
Yeah, it's a very solid piece of, that one looks like maple.
Any good recommendations on a skiving knife?
I really like ours, but we've been out of stock of them for quite a while, and with the coronavirus thing, we're not really importing stuff right this minute, so it might be some time before we get some more in.
But there's good ones out there.
There's plenty of good ones out there. A lot of it just depends on what you want to spend, honestly. Leather Wranglers make some amazing ones.
Yeah.
I would suggest Terry Nipchild, but his shop burned down a couple of days ago, and we don't know if there's going to be any more Terry Nipchild knives out there.
Love that man.
Heck of a guy. Alright, so your goal with your skiving is that you want to make sure not to have a big catch where if your card gets in deep enough that it's past where your stuff is, you know, when you pull the ribbon, you don't want the card to catch on the bottom of the leather. Okay? So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of double-sided tape under that. You could also just use glue if you wanted. And I'm going to roll that down with my little rolling tool, and it'll be stuck.
Are we talking squeaky toy?
My squeaky toy. This one doesn't really squeak as much as the one that's in the other shop, though. And that's my squeaky toy.
Joseph made his own shaft. Rachel, thank you. Sorry to hear about the fire. That's horrible. Yeah, and he lost everything.
Yeah,
but you know, he has the best, like, upbeat attitude.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. Nara Lee said that's a great, cool t-shirt.
Thanks. Janie Sue, before the video, actually made us a couple of these t-shirts so that we could give them away during today's video.
What?
What? So, if we happen to have one that's your size, you might win. There it is.
You kind of just get whatever size is in you.
Alright, so I got my little rolling tool. I'm just going to compress the heck out of that.
Okay, got a question. Hey guys, how much do you fold over after the skive?
About a half an inch is what I'm trying to fold over. Now I'm going to get the other side. Alright, and then you can sew across this fold over, or you can just rely on, once you fold the wallet in half and sew the edges down, that would be done. But we're going to go ahead and sew across it. So
Yeah, I think it looks more finished.
it does. Definitely does. But again, if you're just making a bunch of them as giveaways and stuff like that, man, I don't blame you at all if you don't do it. Okay. Okay. I am knee deep in working on the mystery box for this month, and Janie did not object when I told her that this manly style bag, if I called it the man sack. So I think we're gonna do it. I think it'll be called that. All right, so I'm gonna test this with my card. I'm just gonna put my card in it, and I wanna make sure that it is not down further than that skive. And I got lucky because it's not. Okay, that folded over area is down past the card. That's the goal. Put the card back in case I get pulled over. Always highly probable if you know me. All right, now we need a piece of ribbon. And I need that piece of ribbon to go from here all the way to here, and then another 3 to 4 inches past that. Don't be shy with your ribbon. If you have extra, that's better than not having extra. Okay, and then what I have to do is, I should have put that ribbon in before I stuck this down right here, because I want it to go under that area right there. All right, so my ribbon's already up here.
Yeah, it's underneath my camera.
So I'm just going to pull off a scrap of ribbon here so that I can give it back to Janie to rest the camera thingy on.
Thank you.
There you go, because I need that next. And I'm going to just lightly scorch the edges of the ribbon, or the ends.
So don't fray.
Just so it doesn't fray on me, but very lightly. This is not like a rope that you have to do a lot of scorching on. It's mostly nylon usually, so. All right, so I need to feed it from the inside of the wallet to the outside through that oblong hole over there. And then on this end, I'm just putting it all the way up to that fold and making sure it's centered on my little hole that I punched. And I'm sticking it under there. Okay. Now, we can go ahead and sew that, but I think first I'm going to set that little snap just so that just so it holds that ribbon in place for me whilst I do my sewing.
That sounds smart. I mean, that's what I would have chose, but I didn't want to like jump.
I ask myself quite often, what would Janie do? Yes. So, all right, so I've got to repunch my hole through the ribbon. And then I need a line 24 snap. So here we're going to have us a nice little lesson on setting snaps. I used to be afraid of it. I didn't understand it. This is a antique brass line 24 snap. Now,
And this thing is so cool to set. We're going to get up in your business on this one.
every part has, or every snap has 4 parts. And I have 2 different kinds of setters. I have the Tandy set that I've owned for probably 20 years. And then I have one that's made by Barry King. And I will show you how to be able to use them. The Tandy one's a very standard set. But it can be difficult to use. And I'm going to explain why it can be difficult to use. All you have to know is this little secret and you won't have a problem with it. So there's 4 parts to every snap. All right, and here are the 4 parts and then the 2 parts that go with each other. So your pretty little button that's always on the outside goes with what I like to call the cup. I should have probably looked up the proper terminology. And then I call this one the backside. It's just like the pretty little button, except it doesn't have the prettiness on the other side. Sometimes if I have a snap that both ends are exposed, I'll use 2 of the pretty button part. But anyway, this is what will be inside the wallet. And then I call this one just the snap, and that's what goes with it. So I'm going to put my my backside piece through my hole that I made too small. Let me get a larger hole punch right quick. Got a little, that's probably more of a line 20 size. Line 20 is just a smaller version of what we're doing, a 24. A lot of the time these can be commonly called jacket snaps. Well, that's not sitting flat on the ground, is it? There
You know what I like about your videos? Like, they're not like 100% perfect, so you're like, oh, the hole's too small. Let me show you what we're gonna do.
I don't know how to do perfect.
Not everything's perfect. Doesn't come out of the oven like beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I got you.
Not a cooking show. All right, so I put that backside piece through from the backside, and it's going through the ribbon. Okay. Now I'm going to put the little snap right over it there. Now, this is where a lot of people have a hard time using the Tandy set, which I would appreciate if the Tandy folks would link in if they hadn't already. When this thing's job right here is to take that little post and mushroom it out, and that's what holds that snap on there. So the problem is though, and especially if you're using a lot of thicker leather, when you go to hit this little cap or the little snap will bounce up, and 50% of the time or more, this will end up getting mushroomed underneath this because it popped up. And so you ruin and lose a lot of this piece and a lot of this piece. So how do we avoid such an event? We put our little cap or snap on there, and we put this on it like we're supposed to, and then we put our finger on the snap part so that it doesn't pop up. And it is set.
Oh, so it's a little finger trick.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, everybody loves the Barry King snap setter because it's built differently, and it just does that. So, it's got two sides. There's the side for the snap part, and there's the side for the big button part. Yeah. So you would put the snap part down over the snap. You drop your peener tool down into it, and then you hit it with your mallet. And again, what you're doing is you're holding the snap down with the barrel there.
Instead of using your finger.
Instead of using your finger, right. And so yeah, this tool kind of does it for you. But you know, a lot of the time you can find these sets together. Like if you need some snaps, sometimes you can find the snap with a snap setter in it and everything. Just trying to show you how to use it. I love my Barry King snap setter. I'll use it forever, but I wanted to show you why a lot of people have a hard time with the standard version, like what Tandy sells. It's not a tool flaw, it's a not knowing how to use it flaw. So yeah. All right, so now it is time to sew. I'm going to sew across here and across here first. Then we're going to fold it together and get my ribbon out of the way, and we're going to sew it up the sides. Okay, so up here and up here, and that's what we're going to do. I've done lots of sewing in the videos over the last couple of weeks. I do try to hand sew because I don't want people that don't own a sewing machine to think that they can't make these little projects. So I'm going to stitch groove this, and this time instead of poking all my holes with the awl, I'm going to use our stitch and chisels up there, and it'll go a little bit faster. But first I'm going to go ahead and groove me out a line.
Would glove style snaps work as well?
Yeah, I believe they would. You know what? I don't know why I just did that on half of that one. I should have done it on the whole. Kit and caboodle here. There we go.
And people do enjoy that, you know, you do make mistakes, and that's okay.
Every once in a while I even enjoy my own mistakes. Okay.
And Tandy just threw up the Pro Stitching Groover Set product link. Any recommendations on a good stitching pony?
We were carrying one called the Shornick. It's the one I'm about to use in this video. But honestly, the guy that was making them, he broke my cardinal rule, which is don't mess with my money. Anyway, he had some shady business practices. Otherwise, I loved his stitching clamps, but he won't get another dollar of mine. But this is what that big old funny looking thing looks like. And in a minute, I will stick it to my desk and you'll see.
And who made the strop again?
Dave Swallow of Swallow's Leather and Tools, I think it's called. Alright, so I'm grabbing a 8 stitches per inch pricking iron. Now our pricking irons are kind of a hybrid model. Generally a pricking iron would only be used to mark where your holes are going to be in your leather. And then you go back with an awl and you poke them all the way through. Well, ours are built a little bit different, and I like to think that if I'm using 6 ounces of leather or less, I just go all the way through with my irons. So, that's what we're going to do.
What's the advantage of a stitch groover versus a divider?
Well, a wing divider merely marks where that hole is going, or that line is going to be. The stitch groover actually cuts a little groove in the leather, and that groove can be used to, the stitch now will be under the surface of the leather, and therefore it won't be as subject to wear as it would if it were on top of it. The other great thing about the groover, I think it makes a prettier stitch when it's pulled down into that little groove. I'm looking for the little wallet I made not too long ago, and I don't see it sitting around. But anyway, it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to do both these ends at the same time. So I'm just going to go ahead. Do you have a
specific SPI design for your templates?
Not necessarily. I like, for most of the small personal items, I like going 8 stitches per inch. It's just kind of my favorite one to use.
I don't know why it does that sometimes. I don't know why.
Did it turn off?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I hit the off button. Hold on. Yeah, I think so. Let me see if I can turn it back on. What, do you just hold it?
I don't know. It always takes me a minute to figure it out. Just a second, folks. We accidentally turned off the camera thing.
Okay, wait.
The joystick. Is the light on?
Well, it comes on and then it goes off.
Alright, hold it down. And when it flashes, stop.
Okay.
There you go. Alright, it's got to calibrate. Pick it up some so it can calibrate. Alright, we're good again.
So sorry, y'all. I think I hit the button. I got too excited.
It's okay. Dot dropped it last week. Everybody was like, it's like a roller coaster.
Well, I was getting excited. We're talking about, stitching, whatever, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to mount my little clamp here. Bring up my YouTube channel some. Okay, so. I was just telling Jenny the other day, I've got a big stitching horse that I love. I built it years ago with a friend of mine. And I was just telling Janie the other day that I know a lot more about stitching and a lot more about woodwork nowadays, and I'm thinking about making me a new one. What you laughing at?
Oh, Joe says the camera person makes mistakes too.
There you go.
Cha.
On this episode of What Not to Do.
Hey. I'm
doing
the best I can.
So I'm going to saddle stitch this, which means I need 2 needles.
I think I'm going to come on the side of you to show them.
Go for it.
Way I can get in. We're gonna walk around here.
Even though we cover this every week, we're going to cover it again. Basics of saddle stitching. You want to go through the finished side first. So the outside of the wallet is the needle that you want to put in first. I'll pull it through that first hole and I'll just kind of get them even up here at the top. And then again, I'm going through the finished side on the next hole. I'll put it through, pull it snug, and I always pull it at the exact same angle every time. I pull it up towards my chin. And as long as you pull them the exact same every single time, and you do everything the exact same way, then your stitches will be consistent. So again, put the finished side in first, pull it toward my chin, put the other needle in right behind it, making sure not to pierce the thread, and then I pull them tight. And that's it.
And that's Maker's Leather Supply thread there.
Yep, this is our hand sewing thread. This is the 0.8 millimeter cream, which I think we are out of stock on right this minute, but we're working on getting some more. What really stinks about this whole virus thing is we have been able to stay open, but some of our suppliers have not. So we have run out of things that normally we would have.
Hello from Germany. And then he did like the hang 10 thing.
You need to come up with some sort of a how we're going to give away the first t-shirt.
Okay, let me think. I don't know.
They're waiting.
I don't know. I just said I don't know.
I know, but they're still waiting.
Well, they can wait 1 second.
Okay. What size snap? All I need is the number that we just used, and you get this t-shirt right here. First one that puts it up there. Yep. This is a medium, by the way. So don't answer if you're a 4XL and ask me for a 4XL.
No, not yet. I need a pen, so no. Yep, Jeremy Branshaw.
There you go. Put in there blue medium.
Let me write his name down.
Now you're going to have 2,000 other people also write the number 24.
Yeah, and you'll have to send me a message with your mailing stuff.
Yep. Send a message to our Facebook page with your address, and we'll get that thing in the mail when the video's over today.
Okay, there's that one.
Alright, I'm almost done sewing this one end. We're going to flip it over and sew the other end. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to pause the YouTube camera.
How do you know the length of thread to cut?
A lot of experience, honestly. I can just kind of do it now. There was actually a guy on one of the pages did this big, huge mathematical equation, and I was like, you know what? I'd rather just splice it than do all that math. But I just kind of gauge, you know, how far I'm going to go and add some, and if I'm wrong, then okay, I'll have to splice in. If I'm not, then yay, I have enough.
Have you ever stabbed yourself in the chin?
No. Not yet. But hey, today could be the day.
I was just curious. Nobody asked
So
that.
I am at the end of my line. So now I'm going to back stitch 2 stitches to hold it in. So all that means is I'm going to go backwards 2 stitches through the areas I already sewed.
Yes, we want to hear a joke.
We love jokes. Or they wanted to hear a joke.
No, it says, Nearly says, do you guys want to hear a joke?
Heck yeah, an Australian joke, even better.
I'm going to do it in my Australian voice.
Oh God. I mean, yay. Alright, now I've shown this little trick before, but I'm going to show it again. When you're trimming off your threads, take your scalpel or very, very sharp knife and hold it right at the edge of the thread. And then wiggle the thread against the blade, and it'll cut off just nice and flat against your project. You won't have to burn it or melt it later. And if you do it that way and you're not sawing with the blade, then when you cut through the thread, you don't accidentally nick your project.
Okay, let me go back. Hold on, got some stuff coming up here. Do we have black and 8mm? I don't think so.
Whatever the website shows that we're out of right now.
Leather Wranglers is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah. I have one of their alls as well. I love it. But I want to order a smaller blade from them because the blade that I have in it it's a little bit bigger than what I like to use. Other than that, the awl itself is amazing. All right, now we have to sew this thing together. Okay, so we're just going to fold it in half, make sure the tops match up nicely and everything. Make sure that our ribbon is inside here because you can't put it in, you could. It's going to be difficult to put in later. All right. So I'm going to take our contact cement. First, I'm going to use this little, since this leather has the finish on the back side, I'm going to take the little detail rougher from Tandy and I'm going to kind of scrape that up a little bit so it gets nice and porous so that it'll accept more glue.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that thing existed. Tandy, throw me up a link to that. That is neat.
And it's actually Doc was the one that showed me one of these. I used to use some sandpaper when I really needed to do it, but most of the time I just ignored the need. But it was Doc that we were in the Tandy store one day, and he's like, "Man, we ought to get one of these for the shop because I use it all the time." And so, okay, now we have one. It's very aggressive, so it does a really good job.
Yeah, I really like that. Wonder if it would do my heels.
Whoa.
Well, you know, you can't go get your toes done right now. We'll talk
You
about
can, but you have to go to the black market toe place.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're all foreigners there, and they don't speak very good English.
I will pass.
You know, just like the normal nail salons. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny.
You don't get a myrrh on
I get a myrrh.
No.
All right.
Get a ner.
Hopefully yay, it wasn't glued shut today. All right, so I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to stick those together. I don't want to slather it too far to the inside here because I need to be able to get cards in it later. So I'm just going to put it on the outside, 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. And get it ready to fold over. Oh, I must share a sad, sad event with y'all today. Very sad, okay? I've been doing leather work for about 20 years. And I've had 2 tools for that entire time. Like they were some of the first tools I bought, and I still have them, and I still use them all the time. And one of them finally broke. Janie doesn't even know this yet. She hadn't heard my crying story yet today. My Tandy strap cutter.
No.
I tighten it really tight sometimes when I'm doing big straps. And after 20 years of sometimes even using pliers to tighten it, I finally stripped out the screw that holds it tight. So my next trip to Tandy, or my next order from Tandy, I may order a new one just to salvage the parts to replace them in this one.
Because that one just has like stories behind it.
This one means a lot to me. I've
but
had it
20
for a long
years,
time.
I mean, that's worth every penny.
So, just thought I'd share a sad story.
Candy, go ahead and throw up the link to that too.
Oh, and then the other one is my shears. Craft tool shears are just absolutely, I mean, they'll cut anything.
Do you want to put the other side of the snap in before you glue and sew it down?
No, because that's just going on the ribbon.
Okay. Tandy threw out some crying faces.
They should. It is a sad, sad day when my strap cutter finally gave up.
I remember when you wouldn't let me touch that strap cutter. And I just used it just the other day.
It's like an antique. You did this to me.
Now I'm playing.
Folks, we're going to have to pause the video for a few minutes. Y'all may not need to hear the language that's going to come out of this.
I'm just playing. I didn't touch your strap cutter.
Janie's going to cuss me out.
Show me the shears again. Tandy. Tandy said show them to me. Do you want to do your sad face? So that's your 2 whinies?
Well, no, I mean, these still work fine. I was just saying I've had 2 tools for 20 years. There's the other one. Those. All right, so I've folded this in half and glued it down. Just made sure that the edges were nice and even. And now I'm going to use my pricking irons, and I'm going to get to pounding on them.
Did Doc break the strap cutter?
No.
He says he did.
Well, he was the one that noticed it was broke,
Yeah, okay.
So I don't think that I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that he didn't break my strap cutter.
Tandy's gonna have a special link with all your tools that you're using, so people can go there and instead of going, I think, to a bunch of different links, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
I like when they do stuff like that. Mary Jane, we love you too.
She's alright.
Whoa.
Alright.
Jesus says he's had his strap cutter and same shear since 1996.
See?
Do we sell the drop down edge guide for the class 4?
Yes, but you have to call us.
You have to call.
It's not on the website.
Not on the website, but you can talk to Doc.
Oh, I forgot to put my stamp on it.
I knew it. I wasn't going to say anything.
It's okay. It's not too late.
Well, you have one here that has.
But it's not special if it doesn't have my stamp on it. I mean, nobody's work is special if it doesn't have their stamp on it.
Oh, look, it just came out of the oven.
Alright, bear with me, folks. It must have the mark of...
What mat are you using underneath that freaking iron?
That's one that we have here in the shop, similar to Tandy's Poundo board. I used their Poundo board for years and love it. And that one is not on our website, but it's actually it's nylon based instead of rubber based like the Poundo board. And I like it because it absorbs the tools, but it's also, since it's not rubber, it's easy to pull the tools out. Yeah.
When are we gonna get our Japanese style skiving knives?
Like I said, we're having a hard time importing stuff right this minute, and we'll get to it.
Loud noise. Oh.
What do you mean, aw?
I meant like ooh ah.
Oh. Like what?
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to redo that without double stamping it. Oh, you ought to heat up that branding iron I got. I got a branding iron.
Do you
What's that?
Do you have any machine guards, shoe boot making? Geared, sorry, not guards. Geared.
We sell the entire lineup of Leather Machine Company machines. They do have some boot making type machinery, but that would be something you should probably just send us a message about, and we could discuss your individual needs. There. Now it's cooler.
Where did you get the stamp?
That stamp was made by Tim Purdy of Steel Stamps Incorporated. Amazing work. They are not cheap, but they are really, really, really good stamps. So give him a visit if you've got a logo that you really love and you want to have a custom stamp for. But there's I was playing with my new branding iron this morning. Very excited. I actually got it for my woodwork that I do at my house, but because it doesn't say leather on it, if you notice. But yeah, looks like it's going to work good on leather too. Okay, so now I need to sew up these two areas right here. So I'm going to bring my clamp back. Where's Oscar?
I don't know.
Maybe he's way back in the box. But Myra's sleeping outside the box.
Maybe Oscar's in the box then.
Okay, and I'm just going to do the exact same saddle stitch on these two sides that I did on that top part. So I'm going to pause the YouTube video here. Alright, we're finishing up the stitching on the second side of the wallet here. And then we're going to finalize the ribbon and the other snap and do some edge work, and this little project is done. This thing is so simple and fast to make on a sewing machine. It's not even funny, and even faster if you have a skiving machine. The little sample one I made over there, I made it just to have a graphic that we could put up there to show, what this was for our pattern and everything. And Yeah, I think I made it in about 15 minutes maybe, using the skiver and the sewing machine. So yeah.
Bobby, we were talking about the Waco leather show that's coming up in August.
We do have one more t-shirt over here. I'm not sure what size it is. If it's my size, I just won't give it away.
Oh, that's not your size.
Alright, so I'm going to cross my needles over and again go over the top end of it there. I don't always do that. A lot of the time I don't do it because I might need to edge that area. But since these are both folded over and I won't need to edge them, I thought it'd be a perfect time to do that little crossover. And again, to me it shows a little more handmade artistry, I guess, to it. A little bit more classic and old school.
Do you have to buy a special sewing machine to sew leather? That's a loaded question.
It is, but the general answer would just be yes. Because most of your home sewing machines have a lot of plastic parts inside of them. And while it may sew leather when you first get it, it won't do it for long. It will put a lot of wear and tear on those plastic gears and stuff that are inside the machine. Most of your industrial strength and leather sewing machines and stuff, solid metal pieces all the way throughout.
I missed the name of the journal you mentioned. Was it worth the price?
The Leather Crafters and Saddlers Journal is definitely worth the price. It ends up being about $6 an issue, I think. But again, it has a giant pattern pull-out section in every issue. It always has great articles. And the articles are like watching a YouTube video, except you also get the pattern with it.
And they have back issues too.
Yeah, they got lots of back issues and stuff. The Ralph and Cheryl, the magazine has been in their family for years. Cheryl's dad used to run it, and yeah. Okay, so here's what we've got. We finished our hand sewing, but now we've got this ribbon to worry about. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cards inside here to make sure that the ribbon is pressed all the way to the bottom like it ought to be. So I'm just going to take 2 cards back out of my wallet here. And I'm just going to push them all the way down into the wallet, and that also makes sure that, you know, that they're going to fit, that I don't need to stretch out any glue lines. Now, let's say they didn't fit. Let's say they didn't go in there. What I do, if I accidentally glued too much in here or something like that, I will take like a metal ruler and I'll shove it in there and just push it hard against the edge and pull it as I pull it back out, and it can help to break up that glue and maybe stretch it out enough that you'll be able to get your stuff in it like it needs to be. Okay, so there it goes. Now, so this ribbon needs to fold over the top of the cards, and there will be another piece of leather with a snap on it, but I also like to kind of loop it back like this, just so you have a little bit of an extra loop to grab to unsnap it here. Okay. Again, these snaps are pretty tight. These are big snaps for this project, the 24s, but I like them. So anyway, I'm going to cut me a little strip of leather, approximately 5/8 of an inch wide, which is the same width as the ribbon, and maybe 3 inches long or so. And I'm going to use this brown because I honestly think that this color thread, this ribbon, this color of leather, and then that brown color, like, it just reminds me of like an old school World War II Jeep or something, you know, like if I had a big white star that I could put on there, I think it'd be perfect. But that's the Army part of me. This is some more harness leather. This is just a terrible scrap of belly that has lots of lines in it and all kinds of stuff. So why not use it for this little project? So I'm going to take my ruler with my red lines on it. I'll measure out 5/8 of an inch. And I'll take my rotary cutter and cut that off.
How wide, how wide was the ribbon?
The one I'm using is 5/8. I suggest either 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch wide. All right, now I want to grab me a little. This is just a 3/4 inch in punch, and I'm just going to round the edge or the end of the leather strap here, just for appearances of it. Okay. So what we have to figure out is we have to wrap this around the ribbon. You don't want it tight. You don't want it to squeeze the ribbon. You just want it to look like it's, you know, surrounding it, I guess. And then I'm going to wrap it around the other side here. I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to mark the end of it with my fingernail because that's where I'll use that punch again. And two, I'm going to go ahead and send this punch. Well, no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I was thinking I was going to go ahead and punch it too, but I'm not 100% sure of its placement on the ribbon right there. So I'm not ready to do that just yet. All right. So I've got my cards in here to make sure that the ribbon's all the way down, because it sure would stink to measure and cut this ribbon and then realize that it's 2 inches of it are missing from inside the wallet. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap them around my ribbon, and I want a loop. Again, I want a little loop hanging off my ribbon, just so it's easier to grab and pull. And this can get a little sketchy. I'm sure there's a jig or something I can put together to help this little process, but all right. Wrap that around. Now I'm just going to pull my ribbon down a little bit to make my loop the right size. And then I'm just going to fold it over the top of the wallet to make sure that it's right where it needs to be to snap onto it. Because I want, again, this is also keeping the top of the wallet closed. So I'll need to make sure it's in the right spot. If it's too loose, then it's useless. If it's too tight, it's still useless because you can't snap it. All right, so I think this is a good position for this, and a good length. So I'm going to carefully pull the ribbon back off, and I'm going to go ahead and put my hole punch, or punch my hole through that piece.
Justin loves his maker's ruler.
Woohoo! We're glad you like it, or even love it. All right, now I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to cut and burn the end of my ribbon. Okay, cut it about a 3/16 of an inch or so, just slightly more than an eighth, not quite a quarter. And I'm going to use my lighter again and just barely scorch the end of it. My lighter is not in my pocket.
No, you had it. I thought you put it behind you. Oh, there it is. Mary Jane says you need smaller fingers.
Yeah.
And Heather says, I've coated my snap with black ink to mark where it should post in the hole.
Nice.
Okay. I've heard that, like when you hang something on the wall, you put like toothpaste on the back and then push it to the wall. Yeah, okay. I might be watching too many videos at night.
YouTube?
DIY 5-minute crafts. They turn into crap is what they turn into.
Oh, wow. All right, now on the outside here, the plain piece, I'm going to use the other part of the snap that's the button, the pretty part. I'm going to push it through the leather, push it through the 2 holes in the ribbon because we have the big bubble here still, the loop. Okay, and then I'm going to fold these over each other like they're supposed to be, and voila, we are ready for the last part of the snap. Okay, and I pulled the ribbon out some because the measurement's good now, I hope, if I did it right. Just set this down. I'm going to put my little cup on my snap. And I'm going to push really hard because I want that sucker up on there good. take my little T&D setter here, and I'm going to, again, hold that part of that snap down with these fingers while I hit the top of the setter. Okay, it's loose, but it's on there, so I need to just tighten her down. There we go. Now, it is ready to test out.
Perfect.
So it snaps very well. Okay, it unsnaps decently enough, and the cards come out. This was a successful video. Thank God. So anyway, there it is, folks, the ribbon wallet. I've got one more t-shirt back here. It is another blue one, and it is an XL. So, really pretty blue. I have a classic El Camino. Not many people know much about it. So this is a fair question across the board. Everyone's guess is a good guess. It is a classic El Camino SS, and it was pre-1979, which is when I was born. What year model is it?
Okay, that's what I.
All right, had to write it down because Jenny was like, "Wait, what?"
Well, I knew it was right before the backup cameras.
Yeah, Janie does not like the El Camino. It's tried to kill her on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
So she does not like Carla Camino.
Yeah. I have some good guesses, but
What's
close.
everybody guessing?
Like a 77, a 64, a 72.
I wish it was a 64.
No.
72 is also a badass year model. It's one of my favorites actually, but it's not mine.
No. No. A 70, a 74, 77, 78, 73. Go down.
Where are you
68.
going with the camera?
I was looking at you. Okay, Teresa Sky. She got it.
Oh wow. How will she know she got it?
She knows what her name is.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah, she said 68. She got it.
All right, it is a 68.
She needs to, here, I'll spell your last name, Wisniewski. Worcestershire sauce. Send us a message, Wazowski, with your, so I can mail it to you.
All right, folks. Well,
Tandy said, no, I thought, Tandy said 73.
Oh.
Tandy didn't listen, I know we've told them.
All right, folks, I'm going to end the YouTube video. Again, I'm Aaron Heiser from Maker's Leather Supply. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. On the